The biggest winner in all of this, and we've talked about it a little bit, but just kind of forecasting for the season, Isaac TeSlaa, I think just because of what he provides in an offense with his size and versatility, I think he's the biggest winner in all this, with Tim Patrick departing, obviously. Because for me, my thing with Tim Patrick was I didn't think he'd be traded or cut or anything like that. But I knew at some point that it would be the Isaac TeSlaa show. He would take over from Tim Patrick. Now this thing is sped up a little bit. We all agree that Khalif's going to be probably trusted early as that wide receiver 3. But this, to me, does kind of open up the door a little bit for a rookie year for Isaac TeSlaa to be more involved even earlier, because I thought he'd be involved pretty early, but this, to me, opens the door for him to be involved even earlier in this offense because of his consistency in the preseason, because I know Dan talks about it too. It's like, and I don't know if you asked the question, Justin, but when asking him about how he evaluates basically the players, like when you take into account training camp, when it comes to the preseason, like what do you look at when you look at keeping players? And Isaac's checked off every box. He's looked good in training camp. He's looked good in practice. He's looked good in preseason. He's pretty much done everything he's supposed to do. And I think all that combined leads to a player that's probably going to make an impact for you as early as the first couple of weeks, in my opinion. A pretty big impact. So I'm excited for Isaac TeSlaa in that regard.
Go ahead, Colton. Yeah. When I look at him, it's funny because when he got drafted, the Lions made a big deal about the height, weight, speed. They're anti-height, weight, speed. They focus on other tangibles that come to mind. And when you look at that pick specifically, it's like that's kind of a height, weight, speed pick on the surface because this guy did not really produce in college. Part of that's because, Arkansas didn't really know how to use him, it seems like. They didn't know what they had. So he doesn't really have the production, but he's like 6'3" and 6'4". He's got the size, he's got the hands, he's got the speed. So that stuff on the surface, it's like, okay, well, this is kind of more of a traits-based pick, and you trade a lot for him. So, like, what's the story behind it? And then you dive more into who Isaac is as a person, what he's all about. You see him at the Senior Bowl, and he's, like, seeking out safeties to block in the second level. I think that's really what caught their attention. It's like, oh, this guy plays the way that we love our receivers to play. That's why the Lions have so many big runs in second levels, because their receivers are downfield blocking. That's really important to the system. So that checked off the box. They bring him in for a 30 visit, and he wears a Lions jersey with his name on it. And I don't know how many players would do something like that. It's super bold, but it worked for him in a way that really caught Brad's attention. And they thought it was funny. And they're like, all right, let's see what you're all about. They got to know him on that visit. And they're like, oh, this guy grew up on the West Side of State, huge Lions fan, had to go the D2 route, was a wing T quarterback in high school, went D2 to learn how to play receiver, goes to the SEC and competes down there. He's physical, catches everything with his hands. He runs fast. He's a physical blocker in space. Like, he checks off everything that they're all about. It's almost like this guy was born to be a Detroit Lion when you kind of take the cover off there. And so initially I was like, maybe that's a 2026 move because he might be a little raw. He's playing mostly in the slot in college. But then they get him out there and you see him in these practices and you're like, he's really not having much trouble with like press man coverage, and he's winning balls downfield and he's jumped 50-50 balls with the size in his hands. And then you see him in these one-on-ones with the starters and you're like, all right, he just beat GJ Reed. That's a good sign. So it really does feel like he's checked off every box along the way to a point where I went from 2026 to like, he's going to start by week 8 to like now you can call him like wide receiver 3.5. I think that's probably fair with him and Khalif, like somewhere in between. Cause I think he's still going to play maybe a starter's workload, even if he doesn't necessarily get the start. He's going to play a lot, and the Lions realized this, and they thought he was ready.
Before they traded Patrick, I kind of had settled on Quintez Cephas's rookie production is kind of where I thought TeSlaa was heading, and it's probably a little bit more than that, but he got targeted 35 times as a rookie, caught 20 passes, was pretty productive with it, 350 yards. And I was like, okay, that would be a really solid rookie season. Then you're like, all right, it's probably ticking up. Now you got fans thinking he's going to be the next Puka Nacua, and let's pump the brakes a little bit because the end of the day, like the Lions still have so many weapons, right? Like it's still going to be the Amon-Ra St. Brown show with 110 catches. It's still going to be JMO that's going to probably top 1,000 again if he stays healthy. Sam Laporta, I think, is going to have a bigger year than last year. Jahmyr Gibbs might be more involved in the pass game, and quite frankly, David Montgomery looked really damn good in the pass game all training camp as well. And so you're talking about still option 4 or option 5 in the offense. And so, I'll throw it out to you guys, but like, what if you set an over under right now for yardage for TeSlaa, where you land in there?
Oh,
yeah,
man.
on the spot. Let's go.
So I think it depends. I'm not going to do that because that's a cop out. I'm going to answer the question. All right. The question is a wide receiver. We'll go 3.5 based on what Colton said.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The wide receiver 3.5 or 3.5. We're looking at like 400 or 500 yards for that player usually in this offense. So I think if I had to give like an over under, I know Ryan just put it 450. If you're giving me that number, I think by the end of the year, I might lean a little bit of the over. I think he might be like closer to that 500-yard mark, in my opinion. I could see that from Isaac TeSlaa because he's a big playmaker. If he gets the ball, it's going to be like a 20. Every time he touches it, it's going to be like 20 yards, something like that. So I'll probably go over on that number, closer to 500.
500 feels like a good number. That'd be an awesome rookie year for him in this offense with so many mouths to feed. Because I think Khalif is going to be involved. Laporta, I agree, Justin. Like, he looks like he's in good shape now. I know he was injured last year to start the year. Didn't really look like himself till the end of the year. J-Mo looks like he's ready to take a leap. So it's like Jared Goff is only going to have so many yards unless he throws for 6,000. I don't know where you're getting all these numbers from.
Why not, Colton?
Why not? Right? Yeah, he can. maybe. I think I'd set the over under at like 350 is what I would. And if you want to take the over, I will not be mad at that. I think he could easily work his way into, exceeding Tim Patrick's numbers, which I think he had around 300 last year. Gibbs had 500 as a running back. So just to put that into context, so that's the other factor here. But I guess it depends on Gibbs because he's been playing more slot too. So you're saying that, but I would set it at 350.
So Patrick had 394.
Okay.
Might make you feel a little bit differently. I would actually go take that further. Between Patrick and Raymond had just over 600. And I think we know, Goff did not throw as much last season. And so, you look at the schedule, I think they're going to end up having to throw a little bit more. So I think between the 3 and the 4, the 3.5 and 3.5, probably looking at 700 yards. So I'll go. I like the 450 that we heard in the comments. I'm going to go a little high, assuming good health. I think 450, and I think there's going to be some pretty spectacular touchdown catches within that mix. Because I think when they get down to the red zone and they get that 5-6 yard line, and everybody's kind of pinching on St. Brown, that fade route's going to be there and it's going to be tantalizing. And
then he's going to do the worm after.
Yeah. All the worms. Yeah. And you think that's what J-Mo was trying to do last year was the worm, and St. Brown just didn't let him finish?
Yeah, that sounds about right. He wasn't going to do anything else that would get him flagged in 2025, right?
Never.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? Screw it. Jared Goff 6,000. You know what? Why not? Let's just keep adding. I know we run it. I noticed that's a common thing too. It's funny you bring that up. It's whenever you try to like dissect yards, all the fans try to like, well, obviously
add it up.
Yeah, St. Brown's going to get 1,500. It's like, well, J-Mo's got to get 14. You know what I mean? And then you get why can't Sam get 1,000? And then you start getting, you're like, wait, I'm at 8,500 passing yards. Like, what happened? What's going on here? But yeah, no, I would probably agree with that.
I mean, Kyle Allen's going to have at least 1,500, right? As just the garbage time.
Garbage time. Yeah.
Factor in Kyle Allen, a little bit of inflation. So I don't know. You factor in all this stuff, you'll go with 6,000-7,000. But yeah, no, I think 500 for Isaac TeSlaa is incredible. Third round pick.